Hello my friends and welcome to episode 2 of our Football Manager 2020 sort of beta let's play. Say sort of beta, as you know from the last episode. I've got plans, so this is going to be a tour free season 1. Not cover that, we're going to cover that during the game time, but we're going to get straight away into our business. So Eros Grezda is our first piece of business that we're going to cover. He's away to FC Metz for 1.6 million. Just wasn't good enough for us in truth. He does have that potential, but I don't see him hitting it. He's 24 years old already. Doesn't really have the determination as much as he's got good work rate. I just don't think he's going to ever be quite good enough for us. So I thought, you know what, he's a good player to cash in on, get some money in, clear off a decent amount of wage budget. And on the ends, we're bringing Finn Akerpont in again. Brought him in last year, as many will remember. And he was a good buy, I think. Now, what you guys didn't see is after I stopped the YouTube series, I continued that save on, and he did eventually break into the first team around about the Qatar time, the Qatar World Cup, and he was an absolute rocket. It's always going to be a defensive-minded fullback, but he can be very, very good at that. We've also brought in Billy Gilmore back to the club on loan. He actually fills a homegrown slot for us for Europe, which is one of the reasons why I did it, but he also offers a decent backup midfielder. And allows us to, as I say, have that extra homegrown slot, which is one of the issues that we're going to have in the early seasons. Aaron Hickey coming in from Hearts for 130k. What a steal this is, by the way. Now, he's a backup right back who can also play left back, which is smashing. And I think that is just so good. Now, he's out for a couple of weeks with an injury, unfortunately, so we're not going to see him in this episode. But I think, and I would recommend for just about anyone who plays at a decent level, not the top levels, but maybe even the top levels could get him. I don't know what his potential is going to be like, but for 130k, this guy is an absolute bargain, and I think I overpaid a little bit as well. Finn Akerpont was 65k, and again I think overpaid. Got another couple of free transfers coming in now. We've got Jordan Archer as a backup goalkeeper. It will allow us to sell West Fotheringham. Both McGregor and Fotheringham had their contracts up at the end of the season. I kind of thought, do you know what, we'll maybe try and get another goalkeeper in for McGregor, but that's a longer term plan. I would like to take a proper chance to scout for that. So I gave him a new contract. He's probably going to retire at the end of the first year, but he got a slight wage rise, about 20% wage rise on his previous contract, an extra year with, if he plays 10 games next season, an extra year trigger. He's probably going to retire at the end of this season anyway, so, those extra wages go to point. But we've got Jordan Archer in as a backup. Now, he's a cup goalkeeper on contract, because we can do that now. So we have to remember to do that, but I've always liked the cup goalkeeper sort of option. Brought in Mile Jedinak, the Australian, who used to play for Aston Villa, of course. Now, he is a ball-winning midfielder, and I think if we go and have a look at my tactics, that's going to be a better option. And we brought Alan Hutton in as a backup right-back option. Very cheap wages, but again, critically, if I remember correctly, he should trigger homegrown status, so I feel that Alan Hutton was a very, very good buy here. He's not a whole lot different from Tav. He's half a star worse, but a very, very similar mould of player. It will allow us to sell Flanagan as well. So if we have a look at the tactics that I've came up with, this is what we're going to go with, but realistically, I don't want to have two deep line playmakers, so we could go with a ball-winning midfielder here with Jedinak now coming in, and then McCrory would come back in next season in this position, where he could then develop on to be a future captain. Now, I am thinking captaincy-wise, Tavernier doesn't really stand out as a captain on this game, so we might change this. He's only got 14 leadership, which actually isn't that bad. But if we compare to guys like McGregor, and if I remember correctly, Ryan Jack actually has the same, so maybe that's a mute argument that I thought I looked at last night when I was just after I recorded the first episode, came in, and it's not quite worked out. Anyway, guys, I'm going to select my team. I will see you pitch side for this game against Gazira United in Europa League, and we'll go into a bit more about what the plan is for this series and where we go from here. I actually just came into the game. I've got sounds on right now, which does irritate me just a little bit, so we're going to quickly just give the team talk, try and get into the game and sort out our match settings. I don't manage friendlies, so that's why they're still on. I've left that to Gary McAllister. We're actually changing staff. I'll need to cover that at some point, but hopefully. How can I play, please? Now can I please have a look at settings? Pause for a second, please. And I want... Where's sound? Come on, notification, no. Where is sound? On key highlights anyway. Sound, yes. Sounds off. Thankfully, my eardrums are back to normal. I hope yours are as well. And we'll go with that, because I always like that. And then director. Yeah, I kind of like that. Replay events for goals only. Quality wise, what is going on? I am wondering if my preferences are set to low. Graphics here. They are very high, please. Confirm. There we go. Now that looks much better. And from there we can actually decide if we want to. Apparently we can. But so we're going with that. I'll use that one maybe. I'm trying to work out what camera I used last year. Yeah. Maybe out of touch? No. Vertical scrolling, definitely not. Must have been director. Is Jack? He scored? I've got no idea what's going on. The team that I went with here was McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Hilander, Barisic, left Jedinak in the defensive midfield role, Jack and Aribo in the midfield because Katic and Arfield's still on holiday, Jones on the right wing, and Barker on the left wing. Kent's currently injured, that's why he's not playing. Morelos up top. Ryan Jack opened the account for us this season. I feel like for the first year looking at FM, Ryan Jack is going to be a very, very big player for us going forward, because he actually looks the part this year for what we see in real life. I think Jedinak is also going to be a decent player for this first season, just long enough that we can get McCrory and maybe a free agent to rotate, or even make a decision on Jordan Rossiter for next season, or we change to a 4-2-3-1 and we go from there. That's whipped across a lot of cross balls here, which is interesting. Now I'm going to really have to assess the way we go with this. Jack out to Borna Barisic, decent ball in towards Morelos, cleared away. Jack again on the edge of the area into James Tavernier, and the captain scores. I think it was Tavernier that assisted Jack, returning the favour. A goal and an assist for Jack. Big player coming out of him, I think. And we've still got Ross McCrory obviously on loan. Now I do want to check if he has a return clause, because that might affect my decision. I might give him till January and I see that, but I don't know how I'm feeling about that just now. I feel that we need to be making sure we've got our best players here. I also haven't set up any set pieces yet. I just kind of want to see what the defaults are going to be like just now, rather than adjusting them. Is this stadium empty, or is just my graphics not updated properly yet? Be interesting if it's empty. Brandon Barker scoring on his debut. Another Tavernier assist. Good cross into the back post. It's actually a great ball from Jack as well. Finds Tavernier in space. Actually, if we're getting that much space, this tactic could be very, very good. Brandon Barker obviously coming in from the inside forward role, playing with two inside forwards this year just by the way the team is set up. And actually, if you look back last year, so many of the right wingers that I was buying were almost inside forwards for the left hand side, and I was using them as a winger on the right. You know, Antonio Marin's a big example of that. Even Jordan Jones had a season doing that. Obviously he's doing that again this year, but he's either footed, so he can probably make do with being an inside forward. It's launched forward towards Morelos, cleared away again. Jones, first time we've really seen him get going, and that's a cracking ball out to Brandon Barker. Jack plays it back to Hilander. Jedinak, Jack, Aribo, Jones, out to Tavernier, and so much space once again. I'm hoping that this is not... We've got a penalty. Tavernier will take it. He's already on the score sheet for today. Can we get the right back a hat-trick, I wonder? Tavernier to take. In the back of the net. Also need to remember to say, we do have another player potentially signing. He's waiting on a work permit. I think it's going to get turned down, which is why I've not mentioned it before now. But Tavernier launching that penalty in the back of the net. He's missed a few in real life this year, but 18 penalty taken obviously based on last year's stats, which was a very, very deserved bump. If we continue this performance, I won't show the second leg, so it'll be kind of pointless, and we'll assess from there. But right now, it's a corner. He'll hand it away. Ooh, chance for the Maltese side, Gazira. But nothing coming of it. We're going to make subs soon, I think. My head says to bring off Tavernier and bring on Alan Hutt and get him up to fitness, but at the same time, I don't particularly want to, because Tavernier is on a hat-trick. And, you know, right-backs getting hat-trick are always good for business. Barisic plays it forward, finds Barker. He's got Jack alongside him, finds him in space. Jack plays it across. Good ball to Jordan Jones, again in space. He's got Tavernier on the overlap. Back out to Jack. Barisic on the left wing now. Back to Jack, just patiently building. Jack under challenge, finds Jedinak. Aribo plays it across to Borna Barisic. Jack, back out to Barisic, playing well, keeping the ball, patiently building, dragging their defence around the place. This is quite nice, I like to see this. Barker to Jack. Aribo goes for goal, hits the bar in. Joe Aribo, another goal in his debut for the Nigerian. Big things I'm expecting of him. I'm playing him as a box-to-box midfielder just now because I kind of don't know if that's where he's going to play, but he does have the stats for it. And actually maybe prefer the look of him as a box-to-box compared to a deep-lying playmaker. And it gives Arfield legitimate competition. I'm not saying that Greg Docherty isn't legitimate competition, but he's not at the same level as Joe Aribo. As Jack wins that and finds a pass to Barker. Barisic, cross-field ball to find Jones. The defenders had a nightmare there as Jones comes in, he's hit the post. When a pass to Morelos might have been the better option. We are going to make a change now though. We're going to bring on Shea Ojo for Jordan Jones. Let him have a run out. Otherwise, fitness-wise, everyone looks okay. Barisic, again, just picking out these balls that they're playing cross-field. Barker. Jack. He's playing a cross-field ball now to Jones. I'm assuming that they're just playing quite narrow and we're just slightly too wide for them. Rather than this tactic being the main reason for all this space when we're going from side to side. Barisic to Jack. Back to Barisic. And they're almost just keeping it between them. But it's nice to see the midfield keeping it well there. Tavernier. Whipped it across. Barisic heads down for Brandon Barker. Just wide from the young Englishman. We will bring on now Greg Docherty. Let's see how he gets on. He is much more natural as a box-to-box. He obviously had that good loan last season, so reality would be he would deserve a shot after that loan spell. So hopefully he can come in and do a job. Barisic with the throw into Jedinak. Oh, but he's lost it to Ama? I don't know. Either way, the lad's just run down the wing, crossed it into nobody in the middle, and clipped it up in the bar. And I think it's time to unleash Jermaine Defoe. Let's see how the veteran goal scorer gets on in a game where you would expect him to score lots of goals. But Morelos really didn't have any chances, so I wonder if the tactic's maybe not the best for setting up for the strikers. Goldson launches forward to Tavernier. Into Greg Docherty. Back to Tavernier. Ojo. Tavernier. Back to Ojo. They're just finding so much space here. It's Docherty. It's wide of the mark from the former Hamilton man. 5-0 is probably good enough here. Away from home. I don't see any requirement really to show you guys the second leg here. So I guess we just come back for the next round in the next episode. Because that is a 5-0 win. We're not going to lose this game by 6 at Ibrox. Let's be honest. Tavernier with 2 assists and 2 goals, 2 assists and a goal for Ryan Jack. You know, and lots of achievements procking up. Clean sheet, first victory and thumping, because we like to get achievements. And staff changes, that's the one thing I meant to show you. Now if you were quick there, you will see the player who I've applied for a work permit for. I'm not going to go back. You can, if you want to see that, you can go and thingy. So on the outs, we've obviously got Steven Gerrard out because we replaced him. The fitness coach, Steve Walker, the physios, and Craig Mulholland, the head of youth development, went out as well. So we brought in a lad called Pepe Lopez as a head of youth development. Now, he is a regen coach, which I'd never like signing because he's never had a job before and it just doesn't seem very realistic. But we were playing by stats, and stat wise, he is the best that we could get. There was another lad who was a real one, but he wanted lots of money, and we fell out over it. So contract got declined, and we went and got Pepe Lopez instead. But he suits my system a bit more. We've got Alex Chamberlain now. This is one that Ross Wilson done. He comes in as our under-18s goalkeeping coach. We've got Dario Fort coming in as physio, former Man United physio. We've got this lad, former Panathinaikos youth development, but he has done fitness coaching in the past, coming in for Iraklis. No idea, but either way, he comes in as fitness coach. The Greek guy, Theodoros, whatever. Victor Bajuk comes in as a physio from some team I've never really heard of, in truth, Oxendrania, Ukraine. He comes in from Ukraine. A very good physio. Ben Clarkson comes in from Southend as head physio. And Darren Shaw in as under 18s physio, former Liverpool physio, of course. Michael comes in as another physio from SK Bolton. Vinay Jaeger in as a scout. He's former of Rapid Vienna. Jim Stewart returns as a goalkeeping coach. We've actually got his son as a goalkeeping coach as well, and that's kind of the reason why I've done that. There might have been better options than Jim Stewart, but he is a very, very good goalkeeping coach. And it's kind of nice to have a father and son as your goalkeeping coaches. That's quite an interesting dynamic. And we've got Valentino Anglantoni. Don't know why I done an Italian accent there, but you know, it works. He comes in as a scout as well. Now I'm going to make some other adjustments to staffing as well, but I just wanted to kind of show you that. Other mainly coaches will be maybe left to keep going. Scouts I'm going to assess on a case by case basis from now on. But I think we've made big improvements in the staffing department. Squad wise, we've got a decent sized squad. We do need to have a clear out. You know, we've got Foderingham listed, Katic is wanted, but that's irrelevant, and Alfredo Morelos wanted, but thankfully no bids yet. I'm kind of hoping that this 5 composure doesn't hold him back, because we could get big money for him, you know. Anyway, guys, on that note, I'm ending this episode. We'll be back for the next round, or the first league game. I think it'll be the next round that will come first, of the Europa League qualifiers. If you enjoyed the episode, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll hopefully catch you all next time.